Hi Gemini, happy September. Thank you guys for your patience. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, all right. Now we come in with the energy of the Tower card. Okay, and your Oracle card is authenticity. Who I am truly, who I am indeed. I am authentic in thought, word, and deed. Okay, I keep hearing though, who am I? Right? So I have a feeling here that this Tower moment is that awakening within yourself, right? It can be very, very one of the most gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching things when we realize that the life that we've been living is a facade or an illusion or not really true, or it hits us on a profound level, right? So it's things like that that very easily get overlooked and like poo-pooed on or passed by, but they're the things that will stop you in your tracks, because without that, you feel like you've got no purpose, you've got no passion, you've got no direction, you've got no worthiness, you've got, it's a plethora of things that all too easy get overlooked and not given enough attention. Okay, so that's what I really think that the authenticity card and the Tower card is about. I really think it's about your, what have I done and who am I and who is looking back at me in the mirror, right? Who am I really? Compromise and sacrifice. There is a big difference there, right? Maybe write those two words down and really look at those, because there's a huge difference. Remember your dreams and your desires, your dreams and your desires, okay? Has the real world created a facade? That happens to us all, right? We live in this real world and we're just pulled willy-nilly around. But when we realize that, you know, is it possible to live an authentic life? Yes, it is. And ironically, it's one of the safest and most freeing and exciting of them all. It's just we usually learn that the second go around after we've had the Tower moment, right? To just realize just how bad we've caged ourselves in here, trying to do things for other people, right? Going around with rose-colored glasses on sometimes, most times, you know, because Gemini also can hold a conversation in any arena, have a conversation with anyone. There's really no prejudice there. You know what I mean? And not having prejudice is a good thing to a degree, but it also kind of puts a lens where you're not discerning between who's really, you know, best to be in your life and who's just someone to hold a conversation with in passing, right? But it's that kind of thing is where I think that's going here. Okay, now we've got, I'll go through the cards. The first week in September, and we're not relevant to time, guys. I've just got to put a sequence to how this is going to go. We've got the Ace of Cups. So you're trying, right? I think you may realize, oh, I really want to go this direction. You know what I mean? I'm really passionate about this. I really have a desire about this, right? Something's got you here. This is very, very receptive energy, okay? The second week, we come in with the Eight of Coins. Excuse me. The Eight of Cups. I'm sorry. The Eight of Cups. So this very much with the Tower is speaking of you changing some things up, right? Now, the third week, you've got the Knight of Cups. Okay. That can be an actual person coming in. Can be a friend for sure, or it can be you, right? It can be you and your approach to things, right? Always open, creative, looking for excitement, adventure, wanting to know more, do more, see more, taste more, smell more. Trust me, I'm all about it. But I think it causes some fragmentation here also, right? Now the last week, you've got the 7 of Coins, right? That's going in a new direction. So is the 8 of Cups is going in a new direction, and clearly the Knight of Cups. Now these can be a reassessment of relationships in your life. It can be a reassessment of the types of relationships that you get in, the types where you maybe sell yourself short. Relationships are on all fronts. They're not just, you know, one-on-one private personal relationships. There are engagements. There, how many hats can I wear, and what the hell, where is my hat? What is my hat really about, right? Who am I? You know, looking back in the mirror, you know, how authentic am I to myself, or am I just everything to everyone? But where am I, right? I think because, again, you're open, friendly, to everything. We look at things sometimes through the lens of either being, you know, colorblind, or we have the rose-colored glasses on, you know, and we're not really seeing things clearly for what they are. Objective, I should say, right? More discerning, objective, and less reactive. More of I think this is dialogue related. I think this is I think what you're really looking at is how you show up either for yourself or for other people. You're either extremely critical of yourself, or the relationships that you get in, you find yourself being more reactive than responsive, right? Big difference there again. There's an air through here of also, again, being more content, deep-centered with yourself, that is consistent. Again, not pulled all over the place. These energies in here, you've got 3 cup cards and a coin card. You've got no passion, no fire, no desire. You've burnt yourself out, basically. This can be also, you know, you may be getting into a relationship, a new relationship with someone, but I think you may fear that it's very much going to have the same flavor that a past one has had. The Ace of Coins, the beginning of the month, you're open to something. You're open, receptive. Your heart has got you here, but there are no fire cards in here. This is an awful lot of water. There's no grounding. So this is illusional, delusional. It's great energy to have in your head. But again, coming into this reading, I have a very strong feeling that it's more about realizing that, you know, maybe somewhere along the line, your life has been a sham, right? And by that, I mean not authentic to you, maybe appeasing to everyone else around you, but who am I? So maybe you're learning who you are for the first time, right? That would be absolutely this. This can be a relationship, though, too, because coming in here, this Knight of Cups can be a person, right? And the Eight of Cups, can be walking away from something. It can be someone, though, who's modest, right? But you may be teaming up with someone that, or it can be someone who's shy, you know. It's not liking change, though. The Eight of Cups can also be not liking change. It can also be, it's a fertility card, and I can't dismiss it sitting next to this card, right? So, You know, you may be, you know, in a relationship where you are deciding whether you really do or don't want children, right? It can be something like that too. The Knight of Cups can actually be news from a doctor. So maybe you took a paternity test, or I'm sorry, you took a fertility test or a paternity test, or it could be something like that too. Either way, I have a feeling here you're really assessing something here. There we go. Okay. Now the last week you've got the Seven of Coins. The Seven of Coins is a card that shows up when it's active waiting, right? It's, you know, maybe there's nothing more you can do at this point on something. It's a card that shows up, though, when it's a card that asks you, take what you've got and move it forward, right? That's what it's saying. Assess what you've got and pull it forward. Now, you've got the Eight of Cups in the second week, right? So the first week you start with something, you know, that you're open to. The second week comes the Eight of Cups and you're not quite sure about it. Right? You're not quite sure about whatever change this is. And here comes the Knight of Cups the third week. This can be a friend. It can also be news about something. He brings news. It could be a doctor. It could be, you know, someone brings news about something here to you, right? It's the third week. So, and then the last week, you've got the Seven of Coins, right? Seven is about, again, though, it's about balance, and it's about needing to be it's taking the high road, but in a grounded kind of way, in a more responsible kind of way, right? Maybe taking responsibility, you know, for yourself. Some type of rude awakening comes to light like that, right? I can't discount the fact here that you're lacking elements here. Three of the four cards are cup cards here. The Page of Cups, if that's someone that you meet towards the end of the month, just keep in mind that this person is, again, where the rose-colored glasses may tint your vision a little bit. The Knight of Cups is a great friend, right? If it's a person, it could be, again, it could be someone coming in with news. It could be, it can be things like that. But coming in with authenticity, it's like, I feel like you feel like you're not who you're presenting yourself to be, or someone else is not authentic, right? But with the Tower card, that can either be a realization about yourself, or you realize something about someone else. Can also be that case, right? The Knight of Cups is not a grounded energy. If this is someone that you're starting to date, take the glasses off, because, you know, the Seven of Coins can be speaking of, like, maybe this is too big of a gamble. This could be a risk, you know, a financial risk. Now's not the time when you want to take risks, especially with Venus being in retrograde until the end of the year. That's a long time. That's not, it is absolutely the poster child for rose-colored glasses. Absolutely. It's not seeing things correctly. Okay. This can be times too where, it can be a project that you're just not wanting to. It could be something, it looks like your month starts out, you're really passionate about something. During the second week, you're like, oh, I don't know about this. It could be you just doubting, though. Again, there's it's not a time to be buying things. It's a time, though, where you may come across something that you can strike a bargain with, right? Like you may find a piece of jewelry at like a market Just an example, you may find something in a market and realize that, you know, it was in a box full of things, but it is an actual antique, like an antique roadshows kind of deal. You can come across things like that too. But it's not a time, and I say that with these two cards here because this can be a very naive combination where you actually take a risk on something and it costs you financially. So, it can also be, this can be someone too from your past coming back where there may be some unfinished business there. Maybe it was some kind of connection that, you know, or a friend that you haven't seen for a bit, they show up and you see them now. And maybe they're offering you something and it's just not a time to start something new. If this is like someone shows up from the past that you were going to start a business with like 2 years ago or so, and they're showing up again, that's not new. That's something that you can take a look at again, but be very, very clear on what, you know, it is. Because again, your heart is open here. I think you're really liking it. You could be going towards it, but this can also speak of children. I don't know. There's a heavy, you know, at first I thought the authenticity card is, you know, I really feel very strongly though that you've sold yourself short somewhere. And I think that you're either gearing up to do it again, or you may put yourself in a compromising position where, you know, you need to really just look in the mirror and just ask yourself, is this a compromise or is this a sacrifice? Right? My concern here is that you're about to be pulled down the rabbit hole here in something that may have long-standing consequence. So, pay attention to your health. I'm not a healthcare person at all, but something may come up that you weren't aware of, you know. I wouldn't take any financial risks right now. Purchasing things, not a good idea. Again, rose-colored glasses is your theme, and I feel it very strongly here. You know, this can also be to an opportunity, say a job opportunity, or it can be an opportunity with someone that maybe the timing was off, and now it addresses itself. Because this is a card of assessing where it was and pulling it forward. It can also be, you know, looking at, not though through rose-colored glasses, right? This is a gambler's card too. So that's why I'm saying, you know, having something appraised at antique roadshows is one thing. Buying something that you're not quite sure of, you might be sold a bad bill of goods here, right? This is someone who's very, you know, they're looking for love in all the wrong places, but they're also very dreamy. And you've got absolutely 3 or 4 cards are water in here. So I think it's great to be up in your head, to be dreamy, but not to be illusional and delusional, right? Because this could be a bargain. I mean, it could be a costly fall from grace here, right? This is one of the millionaire's cards, but it's also a card of gambling. You know, it's not a time to do that. It would more likely right now with this energy be a fall from grace than a great stock tip, right? So that's where you kind of want to watch. Just bear with me 1 minute. I'm getting something here. I think that how something starts out at the beginning of the month, I'm going to say pace yourself, because I think that it goes out in a very different way at the end of the month. So that's all I'm going to say on this. I think your heart is open, it's receptive, but it's a reminder here. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Don't be pulled down that rabbit hole unless it's yours. You're being reminded of your dreams and your desires. And to really ask yourself if you're creating or have created a facade, for yourself. And if someone is trying to tell you too, you've got this great idea, and someone is trying to tell you that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard of, that's never ever gonna fly. Keep this part about you. One thing about this card is, yes, it's very dreamy. I've got this dream, I've got this idea, but wait till the energy's passed to launch it, unless it's something new. You know what I mean? Look where you've been. Has it served you? Has your life served you? Or are you trying to reassess something? Whose life is this, and who am I living it for? Because it might not be myself. Those are great questions to ask right now. Because your message coming in here originally was, it's not only possible to live a life that you truly want, but it's the safest and most exciting of them all. So don't let someone poo-poo on your parade. If this is something new, just get it on paper, right? Get the practical plan, know the why, and know your objective to this, right? And then go for it. If this is something that you've wanted to do and maybe the timing was off in the past, this is also a great time to try it again. Now would be the perfect energy. The opportunities, the people that, maybe you needed someone to back you before and they weren't able to, and now they are. That's what retrogrades bring up too. They're blessed times. They're things, opportunities that we thought we had missed it, and it may have just been a timing thing, right? Now the door's open for you, right? Maybe, maybe you were trying to get pregnant before and you couldn't, and now you can. Or, maybe you decide, maybe that didn't happen for a reason, because I really don't want children. I want to do this instead. Another door opens. It's just the theme here really with this is you want to be authentic and true to yourself, because that Tower card is the aha moment where, wow, I have shot myself in the foot, Those are the tough things, but when you realize them, you can work your way out of the rabbit hole, right? So that's what I think that this is about. If you need a private reading, please reach out to me. We can elaborate on this. I can look through this for you, but in a general reading, it's hard to say. We've got planets going forward. We've got ones deadlocking to go back. We've got, the energy is just, it's unsettled, but it's bringing up really great questions to ask yourself. These are great opportunities, right? To ask yourself the really deep questions. Am I reactive or am I constructive in how I live my life, right? It's one thing to be able to wear different hats and be able to fit into everything, but where do you belong? You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of times with this energy, I know a lot, I'm a plethora of useless knowledge, right? I know a lot of things. I read and I just know a lot of things, but you know what, if I were to compile everything together, I don't know what that would make, right? Like a book of useless knowledge. But, they're great things to acquire, but unless you're going to be hit up in Trivial Pursuit, you want to know that you're driving your life in a consistent direction. That's the key word here, consistent, not fragmented, right? And that happens when we switch things just a little bit and we go in for the answers instead of external for the answers, right? So there you go. I hope that I helped you in some way.